Hey friends, welcome to Your Story Matters podcast. My name is Michaela, and I am so happy you're here. My hope for this show is that we experience the power of storytelling and understand that we are the main characters in our story so that we can live as our truly authentic selves. You're in the right place to hear real stories that will challenge, inspire, and encourage you on your personal growth journey. I hope you enjoy. Today on the show is Colleen Clifford. Colleen is an author, coach, commercial fisherwoman, and motivational speaker who explores the intersection of grief, alcohol, suicide, resilience, and the hidden patterns we use to survive. It wasn't until her late husband's death by alcohol-related suicide and her last dangerous drinking episode did she vow to change. In her search for answers, Colleen discovered something she now terms the 95-5 factor, which kept her stuck for years. She made a promise to her late husband and to herself to share the message. It only takes one time of drinking too much for a life to change forever. Through podcast interviews and her book, Life Beyond the Binge, a commercial fisherwoman's journey home, Colleen offers hope to others after discovering a return to self, guided by her internal North Star. Here's our conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Your Story Matters podcast. I am so happy that you've taken time out of your day to spend it with me, and I am thrilled to be spending time with my new friend, Colleen Clifford, which is just the most fantastic name. I love when it's alliteration, first and last name. So, Colleen, welcome so much to the show.
Hi, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we are comfy, we are cozy. We're going to have a great conversation today. I can just feel it. So, Colleen, we always ask the biggest question that one can ask on a show, I think. And that is, what is your story?
Wow. Okay. Thank you for offering your space for me to share my story. I am in my 6th decade of life, so I have a really long story. But the reason really, I'll condense it down, that I am in these spaces is to share an impactful message. And the message came about, I commercially fish for a living, so I'll do a little background. That's really enabled me as a woman to have a very unusual lifestyle. I didn't get married for a long time. I didn't have kids. And so I fell into a party role, kind of the binge drinker type that was on and off again drinker. And long story short, I end up finally getting married later in life, probably my 40s. And my husband died by alcohol-related suicide. So I just like to take a quick, honor that. So after he passed, which was 14 years ago, I had this shift. I went through my own depression. And after going through my depression, I realized that, he died from alcohol-related suicide. So I kind of put two and two together that, wow, drinking, mental health, his death, what a tragedy, right? My story connected with that, what a tragedy. And how can I made a promise to him in the healing journey that I would do something to offer hope to someone else out there, hopefully. I mean, that's the whole message. That's why I'm out here. So I just want to share the story of drinking and mental health and what is binge drinking. And if it resonates with anyone out there that can help, then that's the silver lining to his death.
What a powerful message, too. So thank you for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and pick up with, life post his passing, as much as you would like to share with that.
Sure, I'm like an open book, and it did get heavy really quick, so I kind of go straight to the point.
Let's go.
Because life is now, right? I mean, we get thrown these unexpected events that we never are prepared for, and that was one of them for me. And the thing with the post, in answer to your question, is it's, I don't know. I just know my experience of going through the grief. There's guilt, even though people will tell you it's not your fault. There is still guilt. The guilt of why didn't I see the signs? How could I have helped? Blah, 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 those things we tell ourselves. But then and then you get, I went through anger, all those stages of grief. I was mad at him, like, the typical, what a cop out, which I now realize my anger turned to compassion once I went through my depression. I realized, if he was so depressed and hopeless that he chose death over life, he was in a really, really bad state. And I just want to say there is a a helpline out there, 988, which some people aren't aware of, that anyone can call anytime, any time of the day, any day of the year. And there's a trained counselor waiting. And it's not only suicide ideation; it can be any kind of crisis. So I always like to suggest that for people. But post is, I did make the promise. What am I going to do? I thought it was volunteer for the 988 hotline. I was like, how can I volunteer? Because since I've experienced this, once you have that experience, you connect with people on that level. Like when I talk about his death, people will open up to me that I've just met and talk about they thought about dying by suicide. Their brother killed themselves. I mean, it just opens up a really heavy conversation that you don't typically have with people because they feel safe because I experienced it. And also maybe because I'm willing to talk about it because talking about it doesn't kill people. Not talking about it is what does. So part of my post is just any opportunity I have to bring awareness that anyone can fall into depression. Like I was shocked that I did because I'm usually this happy-go-lucky girl, never suffered from depression. And when I was in it, I didn't realize I was living it until I came out the other side. And I was fortunate that I never had suicide ideation, but if I could have fallen in a hole and not come out, I would have welcomed that. So I was pretty depressed.
Yeah.
And so it just gave me a new outlook on mental health and wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said you didn't know you were in depression until you came through it. And so did the binging start during that time or before? Can you walk us through that timeline?
So I've been a binge drinker my whole life and I'm 62. So I started drinking in my 20s. And quite funnily, I know that's not a word, but when he died, I wasn't drinking. I had had 2 years of staying alcohol free because I had realized I had a binge drinking problem.
Mm,
And so after a few years, the problem with the binge drinking for me is that I could deny it was a problem. Like I would have a period. The problem with partying is if you're a drinker like me, I didn't think about drinking every day. I didn't consider myself alcoholic. I still don't. It's just that sometimes I'd start drinking and I didn't have a reason to stop because I was having a good time, right? And so it was real easy for me to deny that drinking was a problem. So throughout my healing, I was kind of drinking here and there, but nothing really major. But it wasn't until one incident, the last time I drank unexpectedly at a party, 5 years ago, almost in May, it'll be 5 years. And I drove home and I on the way home intoxicated. And on the way home, I said a prayer, get me home safely. And I swear I'll quit. And the next day I decided it was time to change the only way I was going to promise myself I wouldn't do that again is to quit drinking
mm,
entirely.
yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So what is, and you said this before we hit record, the binging and alcoholism are two very different things. And that's a very important distinction. What did it look like for you? Minus the last episode where it was I started, I couldn't stop. Is it social? Is it at home? Is it like a 6-pack, 12-pack for the weekend? Kind of what did it look like for you?
Yeah, there was no rhyme or reason. There could be a week where I didn't drink at all. And then like today in the Northwest, the sun's out and, I commercially fish. So I have a lot of time home. When I'm gone, I'm on a boat working. So I don't have to do anything tomorrow. Oh, it's great day for beer, and then before you know it, I haven't had lunch. So I'll drink another beer. And then before you know it, you've had 4 or 5 beers. And then, you wake up the next day hungover and think, okay, I didn't need to do that. And then I wouldn't drink again for another week or so. And honestly, it's not a problem until you do something that is out of your character because of alcohol. And that's when, and in my late husband's instance, honestly, what I know about drinking and blacking out, binge drinking and blacking out, and just what alcohol does to your brain, he was very, very intoxicated when he died. And had he not been drinking, he might have been able to get through the night
Hmm.
without dying by suicide. So, it only takes one instance to change your life forever. And the same for me when I chose to drive home. in my stupid drunk brain, because my logical brain wouldn't have allowed me to do that,
Yeah.
I could have killed someone. And I woke up and said, okay, it's time to stop.
Was it a cold turkey stop? Because a lot of people are like, quit drinking, quit smoking, just cold turkey and stop. How was it for you after that day?
I haven't touched any, it was my ultimatum, I guess you'd call it a rock bottom. Alcoholics like to call it. Although I didn't have anything happen to me, I didn't get a ticket, I didn't do anything except have a major hangover and feel really a lot of shame. Nobody would have known if I hadn't have said anything, right? I mean, just sitting here talking about it, people say, well, why are you sharing you drove home drunk? Because the message is that a lot of people do these things and they don't talk about it. But when you wake up the next day and, I've been playing this game for 40 years, not maybe to that level, but on some level of
Mm.
drinking, 95, here's how I like to explain it is that like 95% of the time I could drink like a normal person. I didn't always binge drink, right? I'd go to my parents for Easter and have one cocktail. I'd go to my friends down the road, have a couple beers. It wasn't like I did this all the time. And that's how I could talk myself out of having a problem. When I did party, that's when I would next day go, oh, do I have a problem? And I would always talk myself out of it because I would say, I don't do this very often, right?
Yeah.
And so that last day, I had just got tired of that conversation with myself.
Mm.
And I decided that, I was 58 years old. And I'm like, okay, it only takes one time to destroy your life. And I was so lucky I didn't do it. And I got to change. And the only way, like I said, was to just not drink. For me, that's the only way I could guarantee I would not drive home drunk again is to not
Mhm.
drink. So that was my bottom line. And I did the first thing I had not ever done was I asked for help.
Mm.
I joined a coaching program. I got a coach and I worked on my mindset of why I felt like I needed to drink. I had these beliefs of why I drank. And I've come to realize they're not true. I
Mm.
don't need it at all to have a really great, fun, free life.
Yeah.
Kind of a beautiful thing, really.
And I think it's encouraging to know that you don't have to always hit rock bottom in a very profound way to want to change your life. Bad place. Or we don't have to wait until, if someone is harmed, then we change. That should never obviously be the thing that guides us to doing, the right and better thing for ourselves. But so many
I
people
love how you
find
pulled that out. I love how you pulled that out. Sorry to interrupt, but I just
no,
had to say that quick.
yeah,
That's so important.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's just encouraging. I wanted to say that kind of before we moved on, because so many people know people who have hit rock bottom, and sometimes for a lot of people that is the thing that shakes them up. Because
Mhm,
sometimes a gentle tap on the shoulder is not going to do anything
mhm.
because our brains are what they are, and they'll just talk ourselves out of it, or we'll just say like things are fine and kind of just do this whole dismissal. But yeah, it's encouraging to know that it doesn't have to always be that way. Because the whole
Your
premise
world.
of the show, yes, whole premise of the show is changing that narrative, right? And so the story doesn't have to get too bad,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
in order to change. So what were those 5, or at least maybe what was the first year like?
It happened the next day because I had been, thinking about it. I mean, maybe people can relate to having a night of partying too much. The next day you think, wow, do I have a problem? And you Google, do I have a drinking problem? So I decided that the next day I would join a program, and I did. So that I couldn't talk myself out of it in 2 days, because that's what would happen previously. And I was like, nope, nope. And the funny thing is, I didn't want to spend any money on myself. That was I was being so cheap about it. And it's, sometimes I've learned you have to invest in yourself for growth. And sure, I tried it on my own, and I did quit once on my own, but I didn't really and I was alcohol free for almost 3 years. So I knew I could do it. So that was very helpful for me. But I didn't do all my mind shift change during that time. It was kind of like I'm not drinking because I saw myself in a video and I don't want to be like that person. So that's why I'm not drinking. But I still kind of wanted to drink, right? So I always had that until recently. And so, in answer to your question, the first month was the hardest because of my cravings. So, getting past my cravings, and I love to talk about cravings with people. And as a alcohol-free coach and a health coach, cravings are what made or break my growth. Because if I fall, if I succumb to the craving, then you spiral down of, oh my God, I'm never going to quit. I can't,
Uh-huh.
blah, blah, all that talk we start doing. So learning how to move through cravings and through the coaching, they helped with that too. So the beautiful part is that, the way that the reframe I had to help me succeed was when I did have a craving and maybe I did have a beer. I like to drink beer. I used to. Rather than letting myself say, you blew it, it's hopeless, you only got through 2 days without drinking, and then throw it all in the garbage can, I would reframe and go, okay, so I don't have to drink this whole beer, even though I started drinking it. And in the middle, I'm going, oh, why am I drinking this? You can throw it away and say, why did I go for the beer? And what's going on? And do I need to eat? And am I stressed out? Do I need a walk? I mean, it's stopping yourself in your automatic responses and recreating new neural pathways and that's how we end up changing. And so it's kind of fun when you finally pay attention to the automatic things we're doing. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm not doing that anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But my automatic response is to grab it.
Yeah.
And so that was not my hardest. That was a big shift for me in my growth. And about 6 months, it clicked. And then I was like, I've got this with these new tools I had learned of changing my beliefs. And then I went into their coaching program right away. I switched from being in the path. I went through this Naked Mind. And so I went from being in the path to going into their coaching program. And then it really helped to be amongst a group of people who all had the same goal. I mean, that's huge for success. And also the huge part for me for success is, we're human. It takes a while to get those reps in of success. So when you have a setback or just, it's okay. What did you learn? And, it's beautiful how we can, as I'm sure our thinking brains can control our lives in whatever way we're going, Here's one thought I want to just say really quick, which
Please.
really helped me that I never thought about. Within a month, like if I was trying to quit drinking, I said, I'm not going to drink all month. And then I would have a day where I drank and maybe I drank 2 beers and then I'd stop and go, okay, I blew it, right? I drank. Well, I was taught that rather than focusing on the time I drank and what a loser I was because I couldn't get through that day, think of the 29 days I did not drink, right?
Uh-huh.
And before, maybe in a month, I would have drank 10 times and I only drank 2 beers. So that is progress.
Yeah.
And good job, right?
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah, because negative talk, builds and builds on top of itself, right? It's not one negative thing. You're like, okay, I forgot that. It just kind of compounds. That's the word I wanted. And negative talk, which is a part of mindset, which is a part of growing, is we need to replace the negative thoughts with positive ones. So as the months and the years have gone by, how has the positive talk kind of changed how you see yourself, how you see the world, and just your overall mentality to drinking, especially as you've stepped into the coaching realm and are helping people along their way?
Yeah, it's like formed a whole new relationship with myself. I mean, it's, entering my 60s, a lot of us are terrified to age, but I am just so excited about growing older with this
Yeah.
new version of me. So it's very empowering. I'm human, so I'm not perfect. I still have challenges with imposter syndrome or the things we have as human beings that just kind of tag along with our life experiences, which we're trying to shed throughout our whole lives. But it's just been an amazing journey. It's like I'm like a metamorphosis butterfly. Just here I am. And what I have noticed, and this isn't into your question, but I have noticed an awareness around how I respond to things is not so knee-jerk reaction.
Mm.
For instance, like sometimes with going back to the cravings, I can have I can have a long time without even thinking about alcohol. And then I'll be in a place where I used to drink all the time or with someone that I used to drink all the time, which happened to me about a year ago in Arizona. And I had this intense craving to drink. And it was so fascinating because rather than drink or just say, okay, I have a craving, I'm going to drink, I thought, what the heck? This is incredible. Like, aren't I done with this yet? And just noticing it and kind of making fun of it and saying, cravings don't last forever. I drink non-alcohol beverages, so I drank one of those and then it goes away and you're like, wow, that's just insane that they hang in
Mm.
our essence, those patterns we have like for a long time.
For someone who is a binge drinker, is it helpful to not be in the same places that kind of helps you want to drink, or even being with the people that, you typically drink with?
Yeah. Well, for everyone, they're different, right? So we all have to like pay attention to what makes us comfortable or uncomfortable as we're living life and make the choices that resonate with us. Fortunately, because I commercially fish, there were times where I'm gone and nobody's drinking around me. So it gives me more days and repetitions of not drinking to feel stronger, maybe.
Mm.
So, but when I got home, the beautiful thing is it's my journey. So people around me can do whatever they want and it doesn't affect me. Like if my partner occasionally drinks and it's not a problem for me.
Mm.
So I think we just need to do what's comfortable for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're, especially in the beginning, if going to bars where you used to always drink might trigger you, then absolutely probably stay away from it until you feel like you can go and hang out without, and some people choose to never go to bars again, whatever works for you, right?
How does one get into commercial fishing? I am very curious. As a person who has never fished yet, how does one fall into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's still an occupation people are joining even today. I dropped out of college due to binge drinking. Drinking in school didn't go well with me. And so my friend was commercial fishing and she led me to the HR department where she worked and I applied and got a job. So on the West Coast of the United States, in Seattle specifically, there's a number of commercial fishing corporations and you just Google if anyone's interested in it as an occupation. Provided a great occupation for me for most of my working life. I have a few more years left on the boat, but yeah, it's a great job if you don't have a college education, which that would be me. So
Yeah.
it worked out well. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the boat size? What do
Yeah.
you fish? Is it like reel and hook them in, or is it like these large nets? Where are the fish going?
Yeah. So I'm on a ship. I always call it a boat. It's a ship and it's called Alaska Ocean. If anyone wants to Google it, there's videos of it. It's huge. It's it's the length of a football field.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and it's docked along the cruise ships in Seattle and there's a factory on board. We fish with big nets and it's the pollock industry, which they make all kinds of products from it. And I cook. I'm in charge of the kitchen. So I I started as a processor and for a couple of years, which was an experience. I'm glad I went through it because I understand what the folks are living in the factory. And now I feed them. So they come up and eat on their scheduled breaks. And me and my group do the cooking.
That is fantastic.
A lot of fun.
As someone who is scared of motion, I shouldn't say I'm scared of motion. My body reacts to motion not so great. So boats, while I have been on them, have not been very kind to me. Seasickness is real and I don't have an iron stomach. Do you have an iron stomach? Has there been any experience that has kind of been I don't know if I can if I can do this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's kind of common for almost everyone to kind of have a moment, especially in the beginning, where you get seasick out there in Alaska. I did crab fish one season, and I was sick. So I only did that one time, and that was it for me. But Fortunately, I don't get too seasick when it happens. It can happen when it's been calm and then the weather picks up really rough. And now I know eat something even if I'm not hungry and just try not to think about it because, but it is real. There are people who do get sick and it's not fun. I'm glad I felt it because it's good to have compassion because
Yeah.
sometimes you can say, oh, they're faking it, but you're like, oh, no, they're not faking it. They want to get out of work.
Right. Yeah.
No, they're really seasick. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. Real thing. Sea legs are a real thing.
Yes.
Any crazy wild stories of, I don't know, fish jumping back in the ocean? I don't know. What can you tell us?
Just stupid things I did. I was dating a guy. I was on a smaller boat and I was dating a guy who was the captain of a boat and I was on the other boat cooking. And one time we were crossing each other in the ocean and he talked my captain into tying up in the middle of wherever we were so I could jump over and hang out with him for a while. And then the boat started going like this because the weather was picking up.
No.
And my captain calls him and says, give us back our cook. We have to cut the rope. Like, we have to, let go. And so I jumped over. We timed it when the boats were like this. And they threw me over the rail. The guys caught me. And I never once thought that I could fall in or it's so stupid. And he actually dented the bow of the boat. And he made some cockamamie story about how he dented the bow of the boat. Yeah, that was pretty... That was pretty crazy. Stupid crazy.
That is epic. That's almost like a pirating kind of thing. Like I picture like Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Like they're just jumping. How fun though. Like,
yeah.
Where else could you ever do that? Like jump boat to boat. You know what I mean?
Michaela, this is the thing. Like my generation, a lot of fishing started, the commercial fishing started in the 80s. We were all young. The captains were young. Like my boyfriend was the same age as me and he was the captain. So, we're all kids and, not always doing the brightest things. You grow up through the industry as accidents happen, programs became instilled, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And so we grow up.
That
which
also
is
had to be safe, right? There's it's a balance.
do not jump over to the other boat.
You're not jumping now. No, we will just take another boat to the boat. That's so funny. Do you fish like with a rod on your free time, or is it kind of like once on land, always on land until you're on the water?
I love water. I need water in my life. I do not actually own a fishing pole, but if someone invited me to go, I would go. Yeah. I'm not the type to, put the worm on the hook, but I'll hold the pole. So I'm not a serious fisherwoman.
That's okay. Do you
I'll
eat
bring
seafood?
the lunch,
Right. Do you eat seafood and do you like it?
I do. Yes.
I love it so much. I love it now that it's warmer. I find that I tend to, because it's so light and flaky and delicious and citrusy and all these wonderful things. Yeah, I find myself more in like the summertime really craving some good salmon, some good anything, and like fish tacos are like up there in like top 5 summer foods of just like, ugh.
Totally. Aren't they like, oh, they're incredible.
Was your late husband a part of commercial fishing as well?
No, he was not.
Okay. Yeah. And then what is now the compassion or empathy for the new partner in your life of when you decided, hey, I'm ready to kind of start dating or just getting back out there, as they say? Was there anything that was off-putting or anything that was a non-negotiable, or just like, hey, I'm ready to experience something again, when you were ready to?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't want a relationship when he approached, I met him on the boat. He fishes we were on the same boat at the time. And, but I thought I'll give it a try because we'd been having coffee and I liked him. And, we kind of dated on the boat, just taking breaks together, which was really cute. But I think this time, this will be my 3rd serious relationship in my life. I wanted to give it my all. And so we started the relationship with a conversation of let's work on talking about anything that bothers us, no matter how difficult it feels. But allowing the space with respect to be able to share whatever's bothering us.
Yeah.
And so far that's working. It's been 7 years, so it's working really well.
That's
We're
awesome.
very opposite. Thank you so much. We're very opposite on a lot of spectrums, but I respect him. I love him for why I love him. He he knows all of me, good and bad. And we're both widow. I lost my husband. He lost his wife.
Oh,
So that is kind of a weird bonding that we
yeah.
have. We understand death and the importance of life and how it can turn very quickly. His wife passed from a brain tumor right
Oh,
about when they were going to retire, or so it's just, life is precious. I know it's a cliche, but it is so very true. And just how am I going to choose to live it? And
yeah.
so,
Well, that's
yeah, I
good.
feel very blessed. Life
Absolutely.
is like so amazing.
Yes. I bet like you get to be pirates together, which I know that's not what you do, but that's just what
Yeah.
my mind has told me you do now, which is kind of cool. So all of this life experience and these wonderful highs and lows, transitioning right now into you are an author and your book is Life Beyond the Binge. So at what point did a book kind of come into mind of, hey, I have some things and I need to say the things?
Yeah. So I like to write. I've always enjoyed writing and journaling. And I joined Substack, which is a platform to write. And I joined someone's course on writing. And through that evolved this book of what my message is, what I want to write about. The most difficult thing I've ever endured in my life was that process of my late husband's suicide and moving through that. And then how can I offer the silver lining beyond it? And so the book is just it was an opportunity for me to reflect back, like when I began drinking and put it all together. And hopefully, in a way, it's reflective for the reader. It's not, I don't want it to be all about me. Sure, I share some stories, but I'm always asking the reader, how's it working for you? And yeah, I've always dreamed of writing a book, so I can say I did it. It's almost done. It's in the editing stage.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna celebrate when I'm done. And whether anyone reads it or not, it doesn't really matter. I did it and I'm super proud, and it's just another thing to be proud of.
absolutely. Do you have a publishing date on the horizon?
Well, it's getting pushed.
Push back.
Yeah, it was supposed to be May, but now I'm asking July because I'll be fishing and I really want to be home when it's
Yeah,
published. Because I
yeah,
want to celebrate. I don't want to be flipping eggs on the
absolutely.
boat going, oh, my book's for sale, and I'm in Alaska on a boat.
Just start throwing books like to shore. You're probably not near shore, but just start, catapulting them. No, that's funny. No, that's home's a good place to be. And let me know when it comes out. Send me an email and I
Yeah.
will tell everyone. No, it's a great accomplishment and congratulations in advance. And I hope it is a success because so many people, yeah, just need other people's stories. Which is why this podcast exists. And if sometimes, podcasts are not your thing, you want to read, a lot of people do that as well. So just a pre-congratulations before
Thank you.
it's in print and in hands because it's a very powerful thing to not only tell your story but to write your story and then to have other people hear it, see it, read it, and have it impact them, which is just again why we kind of do the things that we do, right? Going through hard things and learning from them and then sharing, which is always the goal, which is beautiful. So we are wrapping up here. I always say as we land the plane, but now I want to change it as we dock the boat. Okay.
Yes.
As we're docking the
And that's a
boat from
great
our
moment too, by the way. When the boat's docked, it's like, yeah.
yes, yes.
But like,
We're not moving anymore. Um, what is next for you outside of getting this book done in the next couple months here? What's your next chapter? How do you see the rest of your story unfolding on life after?
yeah, thanks for asking that. Just enjoy life. I still fish for a few more years. I'll be working on the boat, and I do want to get on stage. So I'm working on speaking, getting some speaking engagements and podcasts. I love to be a guest on podcasts. So
Yeah.
this is always so fun. So thank you so much for having
Yes.
me.
How exciting. Books and touring and oh my word. I love it. And
Enjoy.
so I'm excited for you,
There's one
Colleen.
thing I forgot to mention, Michaela,
Please.
is I am hosting a retreat in Bali in October. I
In
forgot about
Bali.
that.
Good
Yeah.
Lord.
That's something else I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, my word. Tell us about it.
Intimate retreat called the Exhale. Just throwing that out there
That's
for
powerful.
a small group of women. If
Yeah,
anyone's
that's
interested
awesome.
in resetting and recalibrating,
That
come
was
join
sunny to
me.
Bali of all places.
Yeah,
If
it's
I wasn't
magical.
afraid to fly or travel by boat, I'd be there. I'll be there in spirit. Just put a little place, have a little mat just for me. That is awesome. What a beautiful place to reset in just nature and tropics and just, there's something about it. I love it. Colleen, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your story. It matters. And yeah, thank you for your time and with us today.
Thank you so much, Michaela.
Thanks for listening. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen, give it a rating and review while you're at it. It really goes a long way. And check out the show notes for all the ways to stay connected with me and our guests. Until the next episode.